Alrighty, so Happy New Year. And I guess whether you started this on New Year's Eve or you're starting it later, it's like a new year when you're starting something fresh, right? So, really, it's Happy New Year anytime you do this. So, yeah, yesterday was probably an interesting doing that first stage. And for some of you that haven't done that kind of work before, it can be a little awkward and uncomfortable, a little confusing as to, why we would want to embrace our crappy emotions. Why would we want to do that? And for some of you that have done that work before, it may be revisiting that process and going to a deeper level. And one of the things that happens when you can embrace those kinds of emotions and you can say to them that they're okay, you're allowed to be here, it's a level of deep self-love that is saying, I'm going to love you even when you're mucky and ugly and all of those things. And maybe I haven't got that from other people unconditionally necessarily. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But I can choose to give it to myself. So being able to do that can be a challenge. So please do reach out and just let me know how you did with it, or if you found it easy, or you found it hard, or you just said, not even going there. That's okay too. I'm totally fine with that. So now what we're going to do is move into the connecting, sinking into our soul and sort of connecting to this inner, deeper wisdom that's totally there for you all the time. And we're going to really connect to it and feed it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to feed that soul with things that spark it, things that make it feel good in as many ways as we can. So the first thing I want to do when we do this process is I want you to there's no end goal to this. You're not looking to get somewhere. You're looking to be somewhere. So not human doing, human being. So I give you permission to relax and do nothing if that's what you feel like. To surrender completely and let go. Now, some people are going to say to me, Sandy, it's COVID. I have been doing nothing for months. There is a difference between doing nothing because you think you have no other option and doing nothing because you're absolutely choosing it, or doing nothing because you're procrastinating and think you should be doing something else, or doing nothing and saying, I'm doing nothing, or I'm doing relaxing because I want to. I want to feed my soul in this way, in whatever way that is. If you've been doing nothing and you feel suddenly inspired to do something, you can do that too. Now, I'm not going to recommend that you don't feed your kids or yourself or forget to go to work or those kinds of things, and some of you don't have to go to work right now. So I'm not going to recommend that you're not stopping your life. You're just creating a little part-time job over here that you're going to do every day. So the beginning of this process, and I'm going to because there's kind of two different parts to this, I'm going to go back to when I initially did this and kind of what came up for me and what inspired me then, and kind of, when we're moving into it now, it's going to be a completely different thing. So when I first started doing it, I began to say, okay, so the question was, how do I want to feel? I knew how I felt. I knew I felt frustration. I knew I felt empty. I knew I felt all those things, but how do I want to feel? And I kind of sat and I kept saying that question over and over to myself, like, how do I want to feel? If I could have my life the way I wanted it to be, not really getting stuck on the idea of what it would be, but let's say I go there for a second and have a vision of what my wonderful life could be. Not the things in it, but how would I feel when I got there? So I started to feel like I wanted to feel inspired. I wanted to feel alive again. I wanted to feel a spark. I wanted to feel connected to people on a deeper level. I was feeling this just lack of connection with people that, going into, sitting with conversation. It wasn't that I didn't have people in my life. I did, and I've got a hair in front of my face, so I'm going to move it. And not that that I, didn't have people. I did, totally. I had cool people, and I had great conversations with them too. But I kind of was tired of those kind of, well, where are you going on vacation? And, complaining about your husband or your job, and where did you get your shoes? And where did you, those conversations started to feel really vapid to me. They started to feel really empty. And so I was longing for deeper conversation. I had been on a bit of a spiritual journey already. I'd been, doing a lot of different teachers, and, I discovered Wayne Dyer, the Seed of the Soul. I'd done all kinds of different things like that already. And I was getting in touch with those kinds of ideas and things already. But I didn't really have a lot of people. I had one person in particular in my life who was a beautiful soul and special mentor who has passed a number of years ago, who I still miss. And she, I had that conversations with her, but I couldn't really have them with kind of everybody. So I was longing for those things. So as I started to write down, okay, what are the things, how do I want to feel? So I put those things at the top of the list. I wanted to feel inspired. I wanted to feel alive, a spark. I wanted to feel connection, deeper connection. So I started to go, okay, have I ever felt those things? Probably. When did I feel those things? How did those things come about? So I would think about, well, yeah, I remember feeling that, at like Roots and Blues Festival, when I was like standing and watching Spirit of the West and, catching their beautiful concert, and their, the moon was shining down and the northern lights were in the background, and, like just this beautiful, spectacular evening, and swaying in the, evening. It's funny at the time, now I think about it, I was going to concerts, that concert once a year. I mean, I did other concerts too, but the big concert that I loved that much, once a year. I wasn't going and seeing other musicians. I wasn't doing any of that kind of stuff. I remember I felt that way when I sang in jazz choir, and I sang with other people and made music together. I remember that I felt that way when I sat with my guitar. I remembered, now at that point in time, I hadn't been playing my guitar. My guitar was stuck in the closet, sitting in the closet, doing nothing. So yeah, that wasn't cool. So all of those things, I started thinking about, when do I feel this deeper connection? When I have these really cool conversations, when I can get into a deeper conversation with someone and talk about real things, right? Or silly things like going to have a bubble bath and sitting and with the bubbles and the candlelight and the wine, or a cup of tea or something felt lovely like that, walking in the woods and that smell of fresh air. And I really got really clear on all the different things that I felt that alive feeling. Now I'm going to say here that right now we're in the middle of a pandemic. So a lot of the things I would normally put on my list, I can't put on my list. My entire world, all that thing that gives me that spark and, things, my community, my musical community, and singing with others and playing with others and performing and, putting on concerts and all those beautiful things don't exist right now. So this is going to require, as COVID has proven itself to be, a time for us to go deeper. and to find something within us that sparks in a different way. This year, Christmas was just weird. I ended up being completely alone. I had some minor plans for Christmas, and at the last minute got a little bit of a sore throat during the beginning of the week and had to cancel all my plans because it wouldn't be fair to the people. It was, it was a circumstance I couldn't go and be there. So I found myself alone, and I gotta say, I had a little bit of a pity party on Christmas Eve when I came home and with my appies and grabbed my wine and had a little tear or two about that whole situation. And then I woke up the next morning and I was like, I'm not going to sit here and feel miserable all day. So I need to find a way to feel what I want to feel, which is I want to feel connected to my family. I want to know I'm part of their day in some way. And I was like, I could Zoom with them and that'd be great. But you know what? They could have their own day and I can have mine. And I wanted to do it differently. So I ended up getting them to send me a bunch of photos of what was happening in their day. I'm learning how to do video edits and video stuff. So this is a new thing for me. This is part of what's coming out of COVID, is I'm digging in and doing things that I can do creatively because I can't do what I normally do. So I'm learning new stuff. So going in and saying, okay, so they sent me their photos and I added music to it. I took old photos from old Christmas and pulled them up and put them in these videos. I did some of it was video, some of it was just flashes of pictures. I did some vocals on top of it. I figured out how to do that. I spent pretty much the whole day, Christmas Day and Boxing Day. And on Boxing Day, it's sort of at dinner time or just before dinner, they got a lovely video and link to this creation that included what they were doing today, but also flashback of years in past. And so we now have this beautiful memory. And there was tears for sure. There was moments of just longing to be in that, but it was also a way for me to create something that was beautiful that we will have as a memento for years. That would never have happened if we'd had a regular Christmas. So it's kind of a gift of what had happened, right? So as you start to go through these things, you're going to kind of notice some themes. So the challenge now is going to be, there's going to be less things on the list. Let's be real about that. There's going to be less things that you can add. You're going to have to just be really gentle with it and just pick, if you can't find something that makes you feel over the top over them, and just find the simple things, creating your own meal. What if you, decided to learn a language, or what if you all kinds of things. Just start though with, don't think into the future of what you could do. Just think about what kinds of things are easy and accessible to you that you could do that feel like you want to feel. That's kind of it. We're not looking for purpose. I'm not looking to create a business. I'm not looking to create a hobby. I'm not looking to any of the things. I'm just looking to find little tiny things that I can put into my daily experience, weekly experience, whatever, that make me feel like I want to feel, so that you're activating that particular emotion as often as you possibly can. It's those little sparks, right? I recently watched Soul, the new Disney movie, and they sort of differentiate between, hey, it's not all about purpose. It's it's the little sparks, right, that are in those things, and it's just a way to start you on the process of getting into that sort of vibration of what it feels like to feel those feelings. Feels like to feel the feelings. Okay, let's use the word feel 3 times in a row because we just can't. So If you're really feeling low and sad, or really feeling like this is really difficult, I totally get it. Just reach for contented. Reach for just soft, relaxed. How do I feel? Sitting in front of a fireplace, or laying on the floor, or doing my whatever. And just go, don't try and jump from this emotion, and I've used this analogy before in different videos, but this emotion down here that's, I'm feeling sad and heavy, and moving up to this, I'm going to take over the world, and I'm going to, create the next best one, whatever, can have the most wonderful life. No, I'm just going to go here, and I'm just going to go this, and I'm just going to slide over and just feel a little bit better. Take a breath, and I'm going to go a little bit better. Maybe make myself buy a juicer and I get juice. I don't know. Maybe I learn how to make, I don't know. I'm not sure, a different kind of food. Maybe I know people out there that know how to, make different kinds of food. Maybe you can share with one another. I don't know what that is. But this is where you're going to start. You're just going to make a list and just feel those feelings, and feel what are those things that make you feel that way. Tiny little things. Tiny little things, not big things. So enjoy the process of sitting down and just going deeper, sinking into that place. You have that infinite wisdom in you, and there's a guidance in you that is going to help, and it will kind of take over at some point in time. But just enjoy this process of what inspires me, or what, I don't know what your word is, and share. Please make sure that you kind of put it out there and going, I'm loving the idea of blah, like whatever. I have my favorite, video series that I love to watch. But watch it purposefully, not just because you're wasting your time. Like, what do you love about it? Do you love the costumes? Do you love the acting? Do you love the, I don't know, do you want to learn how to make, again, you're not trying to necessarily make it so that you're going to do something, but you're going to do something every day. But all it needs to be is small. It can be go for a walk in the woods. That's all it needs to be. So this is going to seem strange that we're doing this, because it's going to feel like it's a really, really simple process that we're doing, and that's what I want to make it. I want to make it as simple as possible, because if it's simple and easy, you can continue it. If it becomes too complex, then it's really hard to keep going on that. But if you can just say, my part-time job is to feel good. How can I do that today? So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Enjoy. Happy New Year, everyone.